Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to tell you a brief summary of a famous event that happened in the wonderful land of Iran many years ago. Now, remember, Iran rocks! So, in the early 1800s, Iran had a great city known as Herat, as you can see here where the pink arrow is on the globe. Now, for a close-up view of where Herat is located. Herat's beauty, though, slowly diminished as you got further into the 18th century, and by the time you got into the 1830s, the once beautiful land of Herat, which looked like this beautiful land right here, started to look like this abandoned city. Its population went from 100,000 people to 40,000 people, and its industries had died off, and it's lost a lot of its irrigation on top of everything. And the suburbs around it slowly became abandoned. Herat's once booming civilization wasn't looking promising anymore once we reached the 1830s. On top of all of those negatives that were going on in Herat, the government was also very unstable at the time. They were switching from leader to leader because none of the leaders happened to be stable. Though they finally found a stable leader. His name was Sheikh Mohammed, and he had big goals for the city of Herat. He wanted to strengthen the city. He wanted to do this by rebuilding it. He wanted to build an army for it, and he wanted to put up a wall that surrounded the city to keep people out of it. Now this man right here, Sheikh Mohammed, still saw a lot of value in Herat because it was the only way to get out of Iran and into Afghanistan, and the only way to get into northern India. And it was also a very important trade city to Iran. Now that's all of the background information that you need to know about Iran. Now here's the background information that you need to know about Persia at the time. This man, right here, Sheikh Nadar, was assassinated. Things got out of hand once he was assassinated, and it became a very unstable situation. This man right here, Sheikh Ahmed, took control of Persia. But when he took control, they lost a considerable amount of land. The pieces of land that they lost was the city of Herat. The Persians wanted to regain Herat so badly because of the importance of the city and what it meant to them. On June 23, 1837, Muhammad Shah left Tehran with a small group of armed forces. By October 28, 1837, he had grown his army to 30,000 men, with various stops along the way. And at that time, they were in Tubrat-e-Haim on the eastern frontier of Persia. Shah's army struggled through a very tough winter, though, in the winter of 37. It was very cold, and many horses became very weak, and they became very low in supplies and couldn't feed many men. They couldn't afford to buy supplies either because the prices of everything were so inflated. This became a problem because a bunch of men that weren't necessarily trained to be in the army became restless and hungry. On November 22nd, 1837, Sheikh Mohammed and his army tried to go against all odds and siege Herat back. The Russian officers helped them out and gave them some advice. Herat, though, was defended by Yar Muhammad under Afghan rule and was supported by the British because they didn't want Persia to get ruled by Russia. The Persians were unsuccessful in this attempt, and Sheikh Mohammed had to regroup and set up camp behind southwest Herat. Oh my gosh, I just don't know what to do. See, I want to attack here, but I'm thinking maybe attacking here might give me a better chance. Like, there's so many different options, and I just don't know which one to pick. All I want to do is siege Herat back, but I just don't know what to do. Though, as spring neared, the Persian army started making better decisions. They planted crops and goods, and that helped slow down their supply problems and gain more strength.
Fire! Faster! Reload! Fire!
Because of the holes in the walls, in June of 1838, Herat was struggling. They were running low on supplies, and disease was being spread. So the Persians tried one more time to attack on June 24, 1838. This attempt failed, and they got destroyed. Even though they lost, they kept armed forces there until September 9, 1838, when Shah Muhammad withdrew troops. The siege of Herat was very unsuccessful and was a failure for the Persians, who ended up losing 1,000 more men than the Herat defenders.